Hello, everybody. Miss Abate here. All right, so we are on Unit 1, Week 4 already. Okay, so we're going to start off our Unit 1, Week 4 by doing a read aloud. Okay, so we're still kind of in the same essential question that we have been working with about pets and how they're important to us, but we're going to have like a little bit different of a question, okay? But it's still going to be based around taking care of pets like it was in the last week, okay? So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and I will tell you the story that we're going to be working with. All right. So our text this morning is going to be called Taking Care of Pepper, okay? And our essential question is, how do we care for animals? Read about how a boy cares for a horse, okay? So you guys can see there's lots of pictures here of horses. We can kind of assume that these are the horses that we're going to be reading about and learning about. And I can also assume that this is the picture of the boy that we're going to be reading about. Now, I want us to focus on the genre of today's reading. This is called narrative nonfiction. So who remembers what nonfiction means? Okay. Anybody remember what nonfiction means? Nonfiction means it is a true story. Okay. It is a true text. Okay. All the others that we have read about so far have either been fiction or realistic fiction, meaning that they could be real, but they're not. They're not based on any person. They're not based on a real person, place, things like that. But this text is, okay? And we can first see that by, again, looking at the pictures. These are photographs, okay? So we can assume that the text is called Taking Care of Pepper. So maybe this horse is Pepper right here. Maybe one of these two horses is Pepper, but we're going to learn more about that, okay? So as we read and as you listen and follow along today, I want you to be thinking about this essential question. I want you to think about how we take care of animals, and specifically, I want you to be listening for how does this boy take care of his horse, Pepper, okay? So let's make sure that we maybe have a piece of paper and pencil off to the side. We don't need it right now, okay? But just make sure you have it. And other than that, let's make sure our hands are in our laps. They're on the table, wherever they can be. They're nice and still. And let's just go ahead and have our listening ears on, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Genre, narrative nonfiction. Taking care of Pepper. Have you ever been on a farm? Jack lives on a farm. He has a horse named Pepper. Jack helps take care of Pepper. Looking after a horse is a big job. A horse has many needs. There are a lot of things a horse must have to live.
So I'm thinking that we're going to be reading about his job, because it says looking after a horse is a big job. So I think we're going to learn about all of his jobs that he has to do. I think that we're going to be learning about all the horse's needs and all the things that horses need to live. So I think that's what we're going to be reading about. Let's go and see.
Every morning, Jack wakes up at 5 o'clock a.m. He and his father go to Pepper's stall. The stall keeps Pepper safe from bad weather and other dangers. When Pepper sees Jack, the horse gets excited. Jack smiles when the horse gets all worked up. First, Jack gives Pepper hay to eat. While Pepper eats, Jack cleans Pepper's stall. He shovels out the dirty hay and sawdust. Then he puts down fresh padding. Pepper stomps his hoof and nods his head when he sees Jack.
Oh, so we've already learned a little bit about Jack as the boy. Okay, so I'm assuming that this is Jack right here in the picture. Okay, so we just learned a little bit about some of Jack's jobs and how he has to care for Pepper. So one thing that I read that is his job and how he cares for Pepper is he has to get up at 5 o'clock a.m. Ooh, that is so early. So I don't even wake up till 6 o'clock to start getting ready for work. But this is a boy. He's not a teacher, right? But he gets up at 5 o'clock a.m. before school and takes care of his horse. Raise your hand if you think you would do that. If I had a horse, I probably would too. But our hands should be raised because if we had a horse, we know that's our job to do it, right? Okay, so I read that one way that Jack takes care of Pepper is, again, he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh my goodness. I want you guys to go ahead and reread this page right here, and I want you to think of another way that Jack takes care of Pepper. So pause the video and have your answer. All right, what did you say was another way that Jack takes care of Pepper? Okay, so did you put that Jack gives Pepper hay to eat? Because you have to feed your animals, right? Okay, did you put down that Jack cleans Pepper's stall? So a stall is where horses or barn animals, where they sleep and where that keeps them safe. Did you put down that he shovels out the dirty hay and sawdust? And then did you write down that he puts down fresh padding? So those are all jobs that Jack has. He has to get up at 5 o'clock a.m. So if you watch my mouse, I'm going to hover over those parts. Okay. He gives Pepper hay to eat. That's another thing. He cleans out Pepper's stall. He shovels out the dirty hay and sawdust. And he puts down fresh padding. That's all at 5 o'clock in the morning. My brain can't even wrap around how early that is to do all that. All right, let's keep reading to find out more ways that Jack takes care of his horse, Pepper.
Next, Jack strokes Pepper's brown coat and it feels smooth. Then Jack leaves to go to school, but his work is not done. At 3 o'clock p.m., Jack rides the bus back home. He has a snack and does his homework. Next, his mother gives him an apple for Pepper. Then they go to visit Pepper. Jack feeds Pepper hay and fresh water every day.
Wow. Did you learn about other ways that Jack takes care of Pepper? What are those ways? Okay. So right here in this sentence, Jack feeds Pepper hay and fresh water every day. So I know that doesn't really seem like how he takes care of him, because you think, well, of course you have to give them food and water. But that is another way that Jack takes care of Pepper. So I want to pause right here on these two pages. I really want to go back to that nonfiction piece, right? What does nonfiction mean again? It means it is a true text. Very good. So we see, again, pictures. They're not drawings, they're not illustrations. These are pictures of his horse and where the horse lives. We can see his stall. We can see these other two horses in the back. And here's a picture of Pepper eating his hay that Jack has to feed him every day. Very, very good. All right, let's keep moving on.
Jack and his mom find Pepper in a field. Pepper is allowed to roam. He can walk all around the field. He was drinking after having wandered the field. All that walking here and there made Pepper thirsty. Now it is time for Pepper's exercise. In the wild, horses run many hours a day, but Pepper does not live out in nature. Jack must make sure Pepper gets the exercise he needs. Pepper must have exercise each day. Jack puts the saddle on Pepper. He places the bit in Pepper's mouth. Mom does the same thing with her horse, and they ride horses together. When they are finished riding, Jack grooms Pepper. He brushes his mane, tail, and fur. Finally, Jack gives Pepper more hay and refills his water bucket. See you in the morning, Jack says. Pepper nods his head as if to say, yes, I'll be waiting. Jack's dad checks for rocks in Pepper's hooves. If he sees one, he must get it out.
The end. All right. So last question I'm going to ask you guys is the same question we have been discussing, okay? On these two pages, this page right here, page 74 and page 75, I want you guys to find two more ways that Jack and his father take care of their horse, Pepper, okay? So pause the video and go back and reread page 74 and page 75 to find two more ways that Jack and his father take care of Pepper. Go ahead. All right, so there are way more than two that we could have written down. Okay, so let's just go ahead and discuss some of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the pen feature right here. I'll go ahead and do orange. Okay, so let's see, on this page, we have Jack must make sure Pepper gets the exercise he needs, okay? And this next little caption right here, it says Pepper must have exercise each day. I'm gonna put a star right there. That's kind of the same one, right? We can say that Pepper has to get exercise, okay? That goes for us, that goes for our dogs, it goes for our cats, it goes for any animals and humans. We have to get exercise to stay healthy, right? Okay, so what is another way that Jack and his dad take care of Pepper? Okay, we could say that Jack grooms Pepper. What does that mean? It means he brushes him. He brushes his mane, right? His tail and his fur. What is something else that they do? Jack's dad checks for rocks in Pepper's hooves. If he sees one, he must get it out. So it's kind of like, so horse hooves are like our fingernails, okay? They're actually made of the same exact material that our fingernails are made out of. Yeah, it's called keratin, but obviously they're a lot thicker than our nails are, right? We can't walk on our fingernails or our toenails. But so it's like if we have a rock stuck under our fingernail or under our toenail, we need to get that out because it's gonna hurt or it's gonna make us walk funny, right? Okay. And one other way that Jack and his dad take care of Pepper, so they give Pepper more hay and refill his water bucket. So again, just always making sure his horse is fed and always making sure that Pepper has water. All right, guys. So I hope you actually learned a lot about how to take care of horses from this video. And I know that we will be doing more work with this. So I'll see you next time.